You love it.
Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I am your host, Brian Dorrington, here with Marble Mukala Kobungo.
It's Friday and it's nice outside, and Brian wants a fanny pack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just talking because he's got this thing. Everybody's doing this now. The business cards in the back, which is all well and good when it's winter and you can put your phone in your jacket. But what happens when it's summer? That's not going to fit in your pocket.
You put it in your pocket like this.
But then the cards are going to get all. But then it defeats the whole purpose because then the cards are going to get all scrumbled up and you're going to look unprofessional. That's why you need a fanny pack to keep the cell phone and the business cards in.
The fanny pack is a thing of the past.
Yeah, I'm going to bring the fanny pack back. Okay? I got pretty good with fashion. I think I'm going to be able to do it.
As our director Pager would say, Brian's a diva.
He probably did say that in your ear, I'm guessing. All right, well, we got bigger things to talk about because it is a great time of year. We have, especially when both of your teams are in the NHL and NBA playoffs. We are very spoiled here in Boston. We've got the Celtics. They're playing hot right now, and the Bruins playing hot. Let's start with the Celtics. What do you like here?
First of all, if you have a significant other, she might not see you for the next 2 months or so.
Yeah.
Due to the playoffs, so
we got to apologize to
give him a kiss on the cheek, tell him you love
him
him or something, and you'll see them back in June. Just plan something nice ahead of time, because she will be mad at you. But now let's go to the Celtics. You know, last week I had some concerns of who would they play in the first round. I said if they played the Heat, it might be a little problem for them just because of the matchup-wise. They don't match up well with the Heat for some odd reason.
Explain that. I don't want to put you on. I don't want to put you on the spot, but explain it because you did say that, and I don't get it.
For some reason, they just don't. The Heat match up very well with them at each position, and the Celtics. You know, if you have somebody down low that can be dominant, you're pretty much gonna have an advantage. They have Whiteside and Kelly Olynyk for some odd reason. They played the Celtics, I think, 2 or 3 times. And each time he's had big games against them. I think he had a career high in one game.
Well, I mean, he's coming against his old team.
Yeah,
that's not surprising.
So it's just one of those things. It's just a matchup. They might not be a better team overall, but they just match up well with the Celtics.
So you'd rather go up against Giannis, the Greek Freak, arguably the best player in the NBA?
Yeah. The Bucks, they're a good team, but they just don't have it. They don't have that next.
Not right now.
Yeah, no, they can't. They've been trending like this for the past 3 or 4 seasons. They haven't made no steps to get themselves ahead of the pack.
There. Giannis is still only 23. He's still getting used to the NBA game.
Yeah, but this team, Giannis, he's all they have. Everything is around him. If the Celtics can find a way to slow him down, they definitely will have a chance to win. And if you're looking at it, they don't get consistent production from other players. Either it be the bench or some of their starters. Chris Middleton, the 3 players that are going to be key for the Bucks is Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon for his defense, and he could be a matchup problem for the Celtics. But I think they have what it takes to get through the Bucks. This series probably goes 6 games.
But who's going to cover the Greek Freak? It's not going to be one-on-one. It's going to have to be by committee, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be by committee, and the Celtics showed they could play defense. They're the 3rd-ranked defense in the league, allowing only 100 points per game.
They do, but they do have solid defense, but they've given up in the 3 games or 4 games they met with the Bucks. Giannis is averaging 33.5 points. Yeah. So they do have to get him under control. I understand they're sort of a one-trick pony, but he is a guy that can change the face of the game.
He's a guy that can put up numbers, but he's not a guy that can win games for you, especially in the postseason.
So here's what I'm going to test you on. Do we have that player without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward?
They have a collective group.
Exactly. But do we have that player?
Well, for this series, we don't need that player. They only need the collective group. But I'm looking at Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. Those are the 3 guys that I think are going to be key in this series. And the 2 other players that are going to be key is Greg Monroe and Marcus Morris. Greg Monroe has proven he could come off the bench, he can rebound, he can pass. He could kind of, from a big man's perspective, he could pass the ball from where he is. So I think he's going to be key, and he's going to have motivation because the Bucks did trade him.
Did I mishear you? Did you not mention Al Horford?
I mean, Al Horford, he is what he is. I mean,
His defense is going to be pretty important against.
Yeah, I don't hold Al Horford to any standards. He is what he is. He's going to do some good things. He's going to do some bad things. But he's just he's a solid guy to have on the team. But I mean, he's a good body to have out there. Mm-hmm. But as far as, impact-wise, I mean, Al Horford is what he is. He's going to get you at least 13 to 15 points a game, 7 to 8 rebounds a game. That's what he's going to do. So in this series, I think the Celtics have this series. I think this series will go into 6. Now,
6?
Now, if you look at the Eastern Conference, some news: Jody Meeks from the Washington Wizards, he just got suspended for 25 games, so he's gonna miss the postseason.
25?
Yeah,
what did he do?
He violated the team's anti-drugging program. He tested positive for something called ipamorelin. I think I pronounced that right.
Is it a performance enhancement drug, or is it something they take for recreational or what?
It says it increases the release of HGH levels. In
so it's a performance enhancement drug, not a.
Yeah, and he also tested positive for growth hormone releasing peptide. So those two things, he's gone. He's an actually good 3-point shooter for them. That guy, he comes off the bench. He can knock down threes. So.
And just to say, so the Raptors and the Wizards are facing off.
Yes, the Raptors and the Wizards. I'm not high on either team. I think the Wizards, I'm thinking if they lose this series, that team is going to get reshaped. I think one of those key players might have to go.
This isn't a lock for you? It's not a lock that the Raptors are going to win this one?
No, it's not a lock.
Really?
It's not a lock. I have no faith in the Raptors.
I know, you've said that all season.
I've said that all year. But the Wizards, if they want to stick together and try to, do something special, they have to win this. They have to win this series, because if they don't win this series, I think they're gonna make some changes as far as either John Wall or Bradley Beal. One of those guys is gonna go, because throughout the year there's just been those two. There've been issues around them. There are people saying they don't get along. They can't play well with each other. So
I don't see the Wizards getting rid of John Wall.
It's one of those two guys is gonna go. You never know with the NBA. Somebody might make a move for him. But that series, I'm kind of not paying attention to that series. The Cavs and Pacers, not really paying attention to the series.
Why not?
The Pacers they don't match. They're a solid team, but it's the Cavs, and they don't have anyone to guard LeBron. So
the most entertaining team to me in this is the 76ers.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to.
And what they can do and what they have been doing. Yeah. They finished the season 16-0, I think.
Yeah, they were on the tear.
Young team, Simmons, Embiid.
They had two matchup
pretty deadly guys.
Yeah.
Could this team bump out Boston again in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, if they win,
again. I mean, another Philadelphia team, because we know what happened with Philadelphia.
So if Philly wins and Boston wins, they're going to play in the second round.
They're going to play in the second round.
That will be interesting, because there is a whole history between the Sixers and the Celtics just throughout NBA history.
And then the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's that too, and
we
that
don't
would
like
be
their
terrible.
Fans as it is.
Yeah, that would be terrible if they would play the Celtics in the second round and beat them. I would not be able to deal with Philly fans.
I don't think so.
Joel Embiid and Hassan Whiteside. This is going to be an intriguing matchup. Those two have been going. Joel Embiid, he's a troll. He trolls a lot of players on Twitter. Him and Whiteside have been going back and forth. The last game he played, Whiteside kind of had his way with them. Embiid's not going to play the first game because he's still suffering from that nose injury he has. So I think that is going to be the most entertaining series in the Eastern Conference in the first round. There's Philly and Miami. Those two teams, both teams have been playing great, but I think Philly has the advantage. They've been hitting a lot of threes. They've got Ben Simmons, who nobody on Miami can guard. So it's gonna be really interesting.
So who do you like coming out of the East in general?
Who do I like coming?
Is this still the Cavaliers? Is it still?
I'm going down with the ship. I'm saying the Celtics. I'm going down with the ship. Yeah, I'm going down with the ship.
You're gonna sink too?
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. I'm not saying. Last week I was a little depressed about the Celtics, but
that's right.
I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going down with the ship.
Look at this newfound confidence. Yeah. I like it. You found a little fire in you for these playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go in and give them a little bit of a pep talk.
I know. I should.
I think they need something.
I got the president's email, the Celtics president email.
We got some good connections coming on the show.
Email me back.
We might have some actual, celebrities on there.
Yeah,
Mukala's doing some hard work. Stay tuned for that.
Email me back, Celtics president Rick Gotham.
Rick Gotham, get back at us.
Email me back.
All right, now let's go to the West.
The West.
Which seems to be like another two-horse race here.
Yeah. So the Warriors, they've They didn't end the season pretty well.
No, they also don't have Steph Curry.
Yeah, and they got blown out by like 50 points to the Jazz the last game of the season. But the most interesting matchup that I'm looking forward to is the Jazz and the Thunder. For some reason, I think that may be the Jazz and the Thunder and the Blazers and the Pelicans.
Well,
I think
I've been
those
saying
two
that
series,
I think the Thunder is a team that can make a run. Because of some of the veteran players that they have, and they do have a talented roster.
They do, but
you blasted me for that a few times, but I think it's possible that they could be a team that can make a run in the West.
They were just a disappointment this season. They won one more game than they did last year. You would have think they would have been a 50-win team this year, but they just, I don't know, it just wasn't.
But it's a new season now. It's the playoffs. It's 0-0. It's just starting. Fresh start for all of these guys, you know?
Yeah. And also, the Thunder, they were, before the last game of the season, they were the 7th seed. They were in the 7th seed. And they were also on the verge of being the 8th seed, but they won out because from 3 to 8 was so close. If you lose one game, you could go from 3 to 8. So the Thunder won their last couple games, and they went from 7 to 4. Which was big because they avoided playing the Warriors in the first round, the Warriors and the Rockets in the first round, and they got the Jazz in the first round. The Jazz are a little young, so I'm not sure how they're going to be able to handle the Thunder because they do, although they didn't have a great season, all three of those guys have playoff experience. Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook. They have conference finals experience. Russell Westbrook has finals experience. So the Jazz, they're young. I don't think many of their players have playoff experience. That many of them. I know they have Jay Crowder and a couple players that have playoff experience. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. But Donovan Mitchell, he's a matchup problem. And for the other series,
but at the same time, though, wouldn't this maybe be the best time to play Golden State? Because Seth Curry is not going to be in this 7 games. He's not going to make this series.
And they're playing the Spurs.
But I mean, if you're the Thunder, I mean, that was probably the best chance to beat the Golden State Warriors without Steph Curry. Yeah. So maybe it kind of works against their disadvantage. Yeah. I don't know.
Their road to the finals is just a little harder because they're going to have to beat the Jazz, and then, I mean, if the Timberwolves are able to beat the Rockets, which I don't think is going to happen, it's going to be the Thunder and the Rockets in the second round. That's going to be an interesting matchup. The Warriors and Spurs, that's going to be intriguing. The Spurs are always tough, but I just think the Warriors just are more talented. They have Kevin Durant. As long as they have Kevin Durant there, they'll be fine for the first round. If they want to win a championship, they need Steph Curry to be in that lineup. A healthy Steph Curry, because when things change when he's not there, teams play them differently. So those are the things. But the Blazers and Pelicans, that's going to be interesting. I think Damian Lillard, he played at an MVP level the second half of the season. Anthony Davis played at an MVP level. And we get to see playoff Rondo. Rajon Rondo in the playoffs is a whole different animal. He's pretty much a triple-double machine. He takes it to another level. So that is going to be an interesting matchup. And the guard play, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum versus Rondo and Drew Holiday. That's going to be interesting. But Anthony Davis will be the difference for them. So,
But this is all good basketball. But isn't this really just a dog and pony show?
Yeah.
Don't we really know who's going to be there at the end of the day? Don't we know it's going to be Houston and Golden State? I mean, sure, you guys were going to enjoy some good games and it'll be fun and parties and the NBA will make a lot of money. But it's pretty much a done deal that it's going to be Houston and Golden State.
And if it's different, then we'll all just look like fools and be like, oh well. But
I hope it's different. That would make for more entertaining.
And now that it's playoff times, that time of the year, the pink slips. And
pink slips, yeah.
NFL is called Black Monday.
Yeah, do they have a name for it in the NBA?
Nah, they don't.
Can you think of one?
No, I can't right now.
Let's think of one.
I can't think of one, but it's kick him to the curb Thursday or Friday, I guess.
There you go. That's good.
So Jeff Hornacek got fired from the Knicks. Which is a kind of a blessing.
He was only there for 2 years.
Which is a blessing to be fired from the Knicks. That organization is just terrible.
They just have their fans, at least, think that they should be in the championship or competing for a championship every single year. But they just don't have the talent. They just don't have that.
Yeah, and
especially without Porzingis, who was injured part of the season. That
helps.
Season.
And it doesn't help that they haven't been the smartest in choosing players to play with him. So, but the Knicks since the year 2000, they've had 11 different head coaches since the year 2000. They've lost 855 games.
Wow.
Since the list. And Jeff Hornacek's 2 years was 60 and 104. I mean, but some of the things was not his fault. It was just organization. They just, the owner is a dope.
Yeah,
the
he had to deal with Phil Jackson his first year.
Yeah, then Jim Dolan is just, nobody knows what he's doing, what direction he's trying to take the franchise. He just gives out money to players that, that he gave money to Derrick Rose last year. Derrick Rose is not the Derrick Rose that won the MVP in 2011.
He had 1 year.
Yeah, and it was, they just make moves that just make you scratch your head. So the Knicks.
So let me ask you a question. Could Jeff Van Gundy be back with the Knicks?
Is that
a possibility?
Or Mark Jackson.
Or Mark Jackson.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard it's Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, or Jerry Stackhouse. Those are some of the names that's been thrown. Jay Wright has been thrown out there, but I don't think Jay Wright needs that stress in his life. He should just stay in Villanova, where he's comfortable. He's got recruiting in Philadelphia locked down, so he's got.
Yeah, they're just getting started in Villanova.
So
he's not going.
He don't
anywhere.
need that stress of being with the Knicks because he'll age at least 15 years if he goes to the Knicks. Also, Frank Vogel got fired from the Orlando Magic. This was another
2-year guy.
Yeah, 2 years, 54 wins, 110 losses in those 2 years. Organizational. Once again, they've signed players that they had no business signing. Their highest paid player is Bismack Biyombo. He's also from Congo, but that's another story.
There you go. There's a connection right there.
Yeah, and they traded Victor Oladipo for Serge Ibaka. Then they traded Serge Ibaka to Toronto. So it was just like they gave away Victor Oladipo. And Victor Oladipo, he might win Most Improved Player of the Year this year. So they just made some moves that just, hasn't been too smart, and that's why they are where they are right now. Just not.
I mean, they haven't been the same Magic since they lost Dwight Howard, however many years ago that was.
Yeah, So that's just the NBA. Some. I hope they give other coaches an opportunity, other young coaches, because sometimes the NBA recycles coaches and gives coaches that we've already seen don't do a good job, and they give them a job. So hopefully they give some young coaches a new opportunity because. The Magic, that's a nice place to live down in Florida.
Of course, Disneyland.
I mean, you can attract
players.
players.
Place in the world.
Yeah, you can attract players. It's still, I think that whole Shaquille O'Neal thing that they mishandled 20-some years ago, I think that still haunts them. That's one of the things. So, also we got NHL playoffs started last night.
Yes, because we filmed this on a Friday. Yeah, we filmed this on a Friday. Well, we filmed this on Friday. Started on.
Did it start Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. Okay.
But it doesn't matter because we filmed this at different times.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Bruins looked amazing coming out of the gate. Everybody was worried because they lost, 5 out of their last 7 or something like that. I don't know. They lost a bunch of games going down the stretch. There was some question whether the team was in it mentally, whether they were physically fatigued. A lot of people worried, and then they come in and then they just blow out Toronto 5-1. They were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. They got 3 goals on 5 power plays. Everybody was chipping in. They had this. I don't think you got the
no, I didn't
tape
get that one.
But Nazem Kadri, man, that guy is a little twerp. He's a little punk. He is. His own team hates him. I hate him too. I remember watching on one of the 24/7s, HBO 24/7 back in the day when they did Toronto. His entire team just hated him. They didn't even want him on the team. And he had one of the dirtiest hits, not one of the dirtiest, but a pretty dirty hit on Tommy Wingles. It sent that he got a major penalty. Wingles was injured. We don't know if he's going to be back. I'm assuming they're actually supposed to meet today. They're probably meeting right now when we're filming this. I'm guessing he's going to get about a 3-game suspension, which is well-deserved. But this is going to be a fun series because things like that, when you get a hit in that game at game 1, that just sets the tone, and there's going to be bloodlust. There's not as much fighting in the playoffs traditionally, but with teams with histories like Toronto and Boston, especially what happened a few years ago.
Haven't they had some entertaining playoff series beforehand?
Yes.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, they have.
So this is just going to add to
and not always legacy. In the Bruins' favor, that's for sure.
And Tuukka Rask, he had 26 saves, and what we got? 5 different Bruins scored.
Yeah.
So 3 David scored. 3 people with the name David scored.
Hey, that's true.
So,
did you just come up with that on your own?
Well, I was looking at all the names I put down. I see three Davids. So
Pasternak, Krejci, and Backus.
Is that like a NHL record or something?
The most hat tricks by Davids.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll have to look that up.
We don't have a stats guy, so we're making it up ourselves.
Yeah, we're coming up with it. But Tuukka, he was one of the big question marks.
Yeah.
Was Tuukka going to be able to hold up? It's always been about Tuukka in the playoffs. And he had a great first game. And the Bruins, they looked like the team that was competing for the President's Trophy earlier in the season. They didn't look like the bad team down the stretch. Everybody's healthy. Nash is back. He was playing physical. I really think that this team, I'm still going to stick with my prediction that it's going to be the Bruins and the Predators in the NHL Finals. I think the Bruins are that talented. I think they got a good veteran core and a lot of great young guys as well.
Who do you think will be the Final Four, East and West? Who the Bruins going to play in the Eastern Conference Finals, and who do you think is going to be in the Western Conference?
Lightning.
Tampa. Yeah, they've been the best team.
Lightning.
They've been.
Lightning are. I mean, they got Steven Stamkos, arguably the best player in the NHL. They've been playing lights out. They did win the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
I think they're very evenly matched with Boston. I think we've got some better goaltending, but they can put up points, and they have speed. So Tampa Bay and Boston. And who am I looking at? I think the Golden Knights can get there as well. Las Vegas Golden Knights, they'd be a great story if they can make it that far. The first-year franchise, the first expansion team in quite some time. Nobody thought hockey would really work in Vegas, and so far it's worked. They've had a great season. So those are the four teams that I'm looking at to make it to the finals.
All right, this should be a fun Stanley Cup. So we're going to take a break. We're going to take a quick break. And a rivalry will be, dude, we had some fisticuffs the other day at Fenway. When we come back, we're going to talk about that.
That's what I like.
Red Sox, Yankees. So we're going to come back to that. Quick break, and we'll be back.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hello, and we're back after Pedro played the intro to the show again. This is not a new show, don't worry. We took the break. He played the wrong thing. Don't worry. We still love you, Pedro. So we got some baseball, and like I said, it's hard for me to get into baseball when you got basketball and football playoffs going on. Maybe in August, September, but
there was a fight.
But I got entertained, and I jumped up because this is what baseball needs more of. What happened?
Some more
Red
fighting.
Sox, Yankees.
So Joe Kelly and Tyler Austin got into it. This all happened at one of the Yankees player. This started off as one of the Yankees player. He slid to second base.
Do we have the video? Let's get
there you go. Boom. Look at that.
He thinks about it.
Tyler Austin was upset.
They're both
Joe
ready.
Kelly wanted all that smoke.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, boom.
Kelly got the best
Boom.
one there.
Yeah, Kelly did.
Kelly got the best one.
Yeah, this is
Never duck your head. Never duck your head.
New York and Boston, this is what it's all about. Yankees versus Red Sox. You know, though, these two teams just don't like each other. These franchises don't like each other, and we need more of this. This reminded me of when Pedro Martinez tossed the old man to the side.
Yes.
And Manny Ramirez and Roger Clemens got into it. This is classic Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah, you want to talk about how you make baseball more watchable?
Do stuff
make it a little
like
bit
this.
more physical. Do some crazy
like
stuff. Maybe an MMA match between every 3 innings or something like that.
Yeah,
then I'd watch.
Well, Joe Kelly got 6-game suspension for this, and he got fined.
That 6 games is nothing with like 100 and however many they
Tyler
play
Austin
now.
also got suspended. That game in particular, the Yankees ended up winning, but the Red Sox did win that overall series, the little 3-game series. They just had 2 games to win. The first game they won 14-1, and then the second game The last game they won 6-3. So the Red Sox are 10-2 right now, second best record in the American League, third best record in all of baseball. So good start for them. The Yankees aren't doing pretty well. They're average right now. They're like 8-8 right now. So, all those free
You were worried
agent-
about the Yankees.
Yeah, I was.
You looked down that lineup and you got scared. You
Yes,
didn't
I
think
did.
that Boston had a chance.
But now
it's still early.
It's early, so the Yankees got pitching issues. That's their problem. They got serious pitching issues. But, hey, more fights in baseball. So
Yes.
I can't wait for the next time they play, especially in New York, because I'm pretty sure somebody's going to get hit again. Mm-hmm. And now we transition
to NFL.
to our favorite sport.
To our favorite sport. Colin Kaepernick seemingly had an opportunity to go to Seattle, was seemingly going to get worked out.
Yeah.
But then came up the discussion, I believe it was probably happened between the agents and management. I don't know who had the discussion, but it came up. The question, would Colin Kaepernick kneel for the national anthem? And he could not give them a definitive answer. So as of now, as of Friday, there has been no workout. And they signed somebody else.
Somebody
I don't
named
even know who
Stephen
he is.
Morris.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he played for the Redskins apparently. But
So what's clear to me is now, whether it's an official rule or not, owners are telling players, if you want to get signed, you have to stand for the national anthem. There's no kneeling. That's a rule now, whether we want to call it that or not. It is. It's you have to stand for the national anthem if you want a contract in this league.
Which is very extremely dumb.
It's disheartening. It is disheartening. Wherever you fall on the issue, the fact that players can't express their First Amendment right for like a minute to 2 minutes before a game. It's unfortunate.
It is really ridiculous. And this also, they just had a player that half their team, the majority of their team was kneeling last year. So I don't even see, and that was not an issue. They weren't bothered by it. There was no, media outrage or circus that people allegedly think happens if players are kneeling. I mean, I'll say this once again. The team that won the Super Bowl has been the most outspoken team about the anthem protest. They've had players that continuously kneel and speak about oppression and things of that nature, things that Kaepernick was started this for. So this is just
that's the key thing. Started this. He will always be the face of it. So whatever franchise takes. If a franchise decides to go with Kaepernick, they will have the face of the protests on their team. But he has to ask himself, what does he want to be? Does he want to be an NFL quarterback, or does he want to be a symbol of protest and continue to fight for equality and civil rights? If he wants to be an NFL quarterback, it's clearly written. If it wasn't before, Colin, you can't kneel. So if he wants to play that bad, he's going to have to realize that, suck it up, and stand for the national anthem.
If I'm him, I'm telling all them to kick rocks.
Well,
kick rocks. I'm not conforming to that nonsense. Y'all can kick rocks. I'm doing just fine without the NFLs. Y'all are doing fine without me, so I'm not conforming to this nonsense rule that you guys are making up right now. Kick rocks. Another player, Eric Reed, during a meeting was it the Bengals? Mike Brown asked him to make a commitment to not kneel, or to not kneel during the anthem, and I'm assuming he didn't commit to that.
Well, Reed had already committed. Well, I don't know if he committed, but he did have his agent say that he will stand this year. I don't know if you consider that a commitment, but that was released during contract negotiations for him.
Yeah, this is also hilarious with a team like the Cincinnati Bengals.
With a guy that we'll be talking about in a little bit.
That would ask Eric Reed this, or would not sign him because of that. When they've had a history of signing players who,
dirtiest team in the league.
They have Adam Pac-Man Jones on their team. If anybody knows the history of Adam Pac-Man Jones, we're like, okay. They had, rest his soul, the late Chris Henry on his team. Chris Henry, before he changed his life, he was starting to change his life before he passed away. Him and Adam Pac-Man Jones were best friends, and they were two players that you thought they would die anytime because of some of the troubles that they would get themselves into. And so for a team that signed troubled players in the past to ask a man who's never been in trouble before to that, it's kind of funny.
Well, that's the difference. It's the priorities of where these owners at. Apparently, whatever reason, it's easier to sign marketing deals and easier to get commercials and stuff for signing players with criminal backgrounds than it is to signing players who won't stand for the national anthem.
Yeah, which is sad.
It has to be a money thing. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
they must be worried that Budweiser or Pepsi are going to stop their sponsorships because people aren't standing for the national anthem. Yet Pepsi and Budweiser are still going to fund commercials for criminals. It's a weird dynamic.
Very, it's hilarious. And also other NFL news, Jarvis Landry, I don't know if he's signed yet, but last I read,
he
was
should.
close
He's crazy
to
if he
signing.
doesn't.
The Browns were close to signing him to a 5-year, $75 million contract.
Is that the best picture Jarvis Landry you could find?
Yeah, well, the other ones was with him in Miami.
Okay,
so,
that's not the most flattering picture. Sorry, Jarvis.
Yeah, it's the hair.
Yeah, it really is.
So they signed him to a 5-year, $75 million contract with an average of $15 million per year, making him the 5th highest paid receiver in the league. So right now the highest is Antonio Brown, making $17 million, and Mike Evans at $16 million. So that, with this contract now, we're going to look at another player, Odell Beckham. What does that say about him in the market? If I think Odell has put up better numbers than Jarvis Landry. So Odell might be asking for he's going to want that, 17, maybe 16, 17, $18 million range per year.
Who's going to pay him?
Yeah,
you can ask whatever you want.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay you?
Maybe Houston. I don't know.
We'll see.
Maybe a team. So that's, good for Jarvis Landry. Got that big deal. He is a good receiver.
I didn't think you were a fan of Jarvis Landry.
I mean, he's a good player.
He's not a top 5 receiver, I don't think. So I mean, he's being paid like he is. But
yeah, I mean, he was in Miami too, and yeah, but
good
job
for him. Catching passes from Cutler and Tannehill.
Yeah, so good for him to get that contract. The NFL they don't like giving big contracts or get the.
And they got some good receivers. We've talked about this.
Yeah, it's
Corey Coleman, Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry.
Two top 5 picks.
Yeah,
in this upcoming draft. We'll see what they do with it, because if there's a team that can mess up a number 1 and a number 4 pick, it's them.
It's the Browns. Yeah.
It's the Browns and the Jets. Those are the only 2 teams right now I can think of that's capable of screwing up a top 5 pick. In other NFL news, what do we got?
We got Reuben Foster.
Reuben Foster and Vontaze Burfict. You could put those 2 together.
I think Reuben Foster's a little bit different. Reuben Foster, 3 felonies, domestic violence, facing up to 11 years in jail. The 49ers have not come out and really condemned it. They've kind of sat around and they said, we're going to wait and see how this plays out. I'm all for giving people the benefit of doubt, letting the legal system take its place, but Reuben Foster has a history here. Okay, this guy, they should have suspended him or cut him immediately. These allegations are incredibly serious. With what happened with Ray Rice and all the other domestic abuse things, and how the NFL took such a strong stance about it, it's very upsetting to see the 49ers come out and take a weak stance like this.
I don't think the NFL took a strong stance. They just did the PR move.
Or they tried. They tried the little PR move. They had
move.
Eli Manning on there. They tried.
They tried.
Give them that.
But once again, this just shows you NFL organization. Hey, you could beat your wife, you could threaten her, you could carry illegal firearms and do all this stuff, but you can still play. Don't worry, we'll still welcome you back. You can still play. If you're over there being quiet and kneeling, we don't want you on the field. But if you hit a female and if you got guns, illegal possessions of guns, you can play with us. This is just the NFL at its finest. NFL offseason. I mean, you talked about it a couple weeks ago. NFL will die down for a little bit until someone gets arrested or something like that.
That's what it was.
And here we are right now with another domestic case, which, for some reason, some of these NFL players just don't get it. They don't understand that you just can't keep abusing women. Stop abusing women.
Stop carrying illegal guns.
Yeah, you're higher security.
It's just so frustrating because these are gifted people. And they're making so much money. People would kill to just have their natural raw ability and talent, and for some reason, some of these guys just don't get it, and they just throw it all down the drain. It's frustrating.
What is so hard about hiring security?
It isn't.
What is so hard? And I'm sure some of these guys have best friends that are probably in law enforcement or something that that they could just have with them.
Yeah.
Because that would mean, common sense would tell you, hey, I'm a multi-million-dollar person now. people might be, gunning for me or something, maybe I should protect myself and get security. Because that's the easiest way to go. But
or just call guys like LeBron James, Tom Brady. Hey, how do I stay out of trouble? Because those guys did it right. Those guys figured something out.
Yeah.
Maybe follow their path. Get out of the bars, get out of the clubs, get rid of the guns and drugs, and just play sports, make your money, live a good life. I mean, these guys have it all. To see them keep throwing it down the drain.
And LeBron James been in the spotlight since 16, and we've never heard of him getting in any type of trouble.
Not a single thing.
So your favorite guy, Vontaze Burfict.
Vontaze Burfict. You know what? I'm sure we're running out of time, but I did read that his infractions since he came into the league. He's suspended for 4 games right now for performance-enhancing drugs. So, 2013, fined $10,000 for striking a player in the groin. 2013 again, fined $21,000 for spearing. 2013 again, hit on a defenseless player, $21,000 fine.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. In 2014, ankle twisting for $25,000 fine. 2015, 3 separate unsportsmanlike incidents for almost $70,000 in fines. 2016, another hit on a defenseless player, $50,000. 2016 again, multiple violations of player safety rules. 3 games suspension. There's more, sorry, but this has to be said. 2016, another one of my favorites. It sounds like a wrestling move.
Yeah.
Leg stomp, $75,000 fine. 2016 again, flipped the middle finger to the crowd, $12,000 fine. 2017, unsportsmanlike conduct, $12,000 fine. 2017, another hit on a defenseless player, suspended 3 games, and now the new performance-enhancing drug policy, 4 games. This guy's still in the league. This guy's still got a contract. I don't know. What is going on?
And just to add on to all that, if you add all of those fines that you just spoke about, they come to a total of $303,637.
Oh my God!
That's how much he's paid in NFL fines since he's been in the league. This guy clearly there's another one. He just doesn't.
There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with him.
There's got to
be. He's got to see some sort of counselor or something. There's no way this is a normal human being.
And he cost his team a playoff victory a few years ago by just
by this hit on Antonio Brown.
Yeah, just being out of control. And this isn't more of an indictment on Marvin Lewis than anything else. I don't
know how he's still a coach of the Bengals.
I don't know either. I don't know how this player is still on their team. And Mike Brown and the owner is worried about a man.
Worried about Eric Reid. Yeah.
He's worried about man kneeling. But hey, oh well. We're gonna get to Athletes Corner because this has been a very funny story. So Athletes Corner, check it out. I spoke with Brian Castellanos and talked about some good stuff. Check it out. Athletes Corner. Welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. Today we got a special guest. He's a man of many titles. But today he's a Boston Marathon runner. He will be running in the Boston Marathon on Monday, April 16th. All that good stuff. I got Brian Castellanos, my main man. What's going on?
Thanks, man. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're the first elected official here.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. You know what, man? I wear so many different hats sometimes. I gotta hit the ground running on the transition tip. So.
Yeah. Okay. But so you got all this stuff here.
I do.
All these medals and stuff. So what's going on? Now you're running the Boston Marathon. So tell me a little about that.
So honestly, these are just the medals you see right on the table. Those are my milestones. For the big picture, which is obviously, I'm running for Horizons for Homeless Children. I'm running the Boston Marathon. This is going to be my second shot at it. I completed last year. It was my first time running a marathon. And to be honest with you, my road to get there was, it's been a beautiful one.
Yeah. Now, you got so many medals here. You got a half marathon here. You got this one here. What does it take to get into all these? What do you put your body through to prepare for running these stuff?
the decision to run, like why you run, everyone, when I got to the Boston Marathon, like when I finally like achieved like this, that was probably one of the biggest, most memorable accomplishments I've ever had, because the journey that it took, the process to get to this, to that final 26.2, to that finish line, was something that it was memorable for life, and it was really born out of tragedy. And every runner has a story. So.
I know, especially in the Boston Marathon, we know the tragedies that happened in the Boston Marathon a few years back. Now you're participating in it, just 26 miles. Wait, 26.2 miles. Let me correct myself. How do you prepare yourself for that many miles?
So part of the training, I think for me, you got to be mentally prepared. So I think before anything, I think I always audit myself, like why am I doing this? And to kind of go back on why I started to run, it was born out of tragedy. I was involved in a really horrific car accident in 2013, which almost left me paralyzed. I was told by a team of doctors that I wasn't going to walk again. I had dreams of, I was a football player at the time. I was at Framingham State University, where I played safety. I just came off one of the my best seasons I ever had as an athlete, and to have all that just broken in because of an accident, it left me with an emptiness as an athlete. So when I not to go into full detail about my accident, I was left in a hospital bed in ICU for almost a month, and my road to recovery was very painful. In the process to become where I am today was something out of a miracle. They would say it's a miracle, but to be honest with you, it took a lot of perseverance, and it took a lot of adversities. Persevering was one piece, but recognizing the adversity that I was in was something that that led me to Horizons for Homeless Children.
Okay, so you're going to be running for that. That's the charity you're going to be running for. Tell me a little about Horizon for Homeless Children.
Well, Horizons for Homeless Children is awesome because, again, when my decision to run, before I even decided to run, I said I wanted to give back, because when I was in my hospital bed, laying helplessly, I wanted to say I want to give back, and I started to research different ways to give back. And I love children. I think giving back to children is one of the most precious things you can ever do when you decide to give back, because there's always a time and a place. And Horizons for Homeless Children was one of the first places I decided to go with, and I volunteered for them while I was in graduate school.
Nice.
So, and I was the play assistant leader.
Okay.
Some of this, I know.
So in other words, Brian loves the kids.
So excited.
That's his motto for this one. Brian loves the kids.
Hashtag for the kids.
For the kids. We do it for the kids.
That's right.
Now you just spoke on it a little bit. You were a football player. You played at Lynn English, then you went to Framingham State. Tell me a little bit about channeling your football training into putting it into training for the marathon.
So training for the marathon versus football is two different sports, but mental toughness is something that I've learned as a football player, and being disciplined. So you have to be disciplined, and I mean waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Like I'll have runs probably 5 days a week. I'm in the 4:30. I'm up. I'm well fed. I'm well hydrated. You have to take care of yourself. There's a difference when you have to run long distance, and in terms of what we say, like as an endurance athlete, we have to preserve ourselves. So you have to really nurture yourself. You have to listen to your body. You have to get educated too. So part of the Boston Marathon process, I've been able to participate in the Boston Athletic Association's running program. So they have running professional runners and people who do this for a living that come into the city. They train you. They educate you on long runs, interval runs, just the whole being an athlete, like a runner. So I wasn't a runner, quote unquote. I was a football player. But after I really educated myself on the process and the training of it, I realized this is doable. You have to be really mentally prepared to really. It's 8 months. It takes about 8 months to prepare for this, and it's really a commitment. And I'm running for something that's bigger than me right now. So it was something that I was willing to commit to, and it's been beautiful.
Yeah, because the key to running 26.2 miles, you just got to pace yourself to the last few miles so you can push yourself through it. Now, how are you going to, I forget what that thing they call the hill they call it.
The runner's high.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to be able to deal with that one because
Heartbreak Hill.
Heartbreak Hill,
Okay,
there we go. That's the name
Hill.
I'm looking for. Heartbreak Hill, how are you going to be able to deal with that part? Because, the hills we have up in the Highlands, they're pretty steep, but I don't know about this one.
Well, Heartbreak Hill, honestly, my first time I got to run on it was last year, and it was a long run. It was a 22-mile long run. It was through New Balance. They set up this whole pre-trial run before the actual marathon, and actually I got to do it again this year. So there's a lot. So the timing of the hill is pretty rough because it's it's a bad time. If you're gonna have any hills, because you're running, a good 17 miles before you touch those hills. So what's important is as you're running those miles, you need to harness. You need to really focus on your body. You need to listen to yourself. And which is a very important lesson I learned last year because I ended up getting blisters on my feet, and I ended up at mile 10. I was wobbling to the Heartbreak Hills, and I paid for that.
Oh man, so listen, we've running out of time. Let's talk more. But just to backtrack, this is your second time running?
This is my second time.
This is your second time running. So what was your time you got last year?
Last year was 5 hours and 27 minutes.
All right, what are you trying to go under 5 this year or under 5:20?
So my time this year is finish.
Oh, you didn't finish last year?
No, I finished last year, but I can't. I would like to finish under 5 hours.
All right,
so.
all right. We're gonna get you at 5:10 or something.
5:10, all right. About where we got it today, so we're gonna hold it live.
It's documented right here. You heard it on Athlete's Corner. He's gonna run it in 5:10, 5 hours and 10 minutes. But I mean, before we leave, is there anything else you want to say? Plug something for the people?
No, definitely. So again, I said I'm running for Horizons for Homeless Children. I have a pin on here that says "Ask Me," and part of my campaign, I've been trying to raise awareness for children who are currently living in the shelters around the state of Massachusetts. There's about 16,000 homeless children under the age of 5 that live in these shelters. And I honestly had my first experience as a play assistant leader. I would go to these shelters and play with them. But the big picture is a lot of these children have their innocence taken from them at a young age. They're born into these tragic moments where they have no control, and they're more susceptible to learning disabilities, mental health issues, and raising awareness for those children is something that I found so important because I've met these children, and there was an example of a young lady when I first met that really that really led me to today as well to run and give back was, she was a young lady at age 7 years old. Part of the whole commitment for Horizons, they want you to commit to a shift, and mine was a Tuesday shift. I didn't miss it for 2 years. And this young girl, every time I left, she would ask, "Will you come back?" And that was something that I never forget because I coming to find out, her parents left her. One passed away because of a drug overdose, and her father was incarcerated. So you find out, they don't have that predictability that a lot of kids have, and not to say a lot of kids, but there are, just to bring word, there are kids growing up like that. So they're going through the system, and I'm sitting here, and I told I'm gonna run for those kids. And on the back of my shirt, it says, "Today I run for homeless children." That's who I'm running for. It's bigger than me. So we're going to do it live, and I'm also excited to be here and share my story, All
right, there you go. That's it. Brian's running for a good cause, running for the marathon, under 5:10. So that's the plan. You guys been watching Athlete's Corner. We're going to toss it back to Brian. And we are back. We got some stuff.
I just realized my head's in this shot too.
Well,
has it been like that all show?
No, it has.
Okay.
It has.
I must have moved.
Yeah, Brian.
Let me slide back over.
As you can see, Brian's being a diva again and wants to get all the FaceTime with the camera.
Why not? Take advantage of all the angles of the face.
This is the stuff Pedro talks about when he calls certain people divas. They see the camera and they want to hog all the FaceTime. I just found out that Brian used to train fighting dogs.
But no, not fighting. Gee, God, that's gonna get me in
I'm
trouble.
joking. He used to train protection dogs.
Personal protection.
Not Michael Vick type fighting. No, protection
like
dogs.
save people that would jump and save a family from a fire and get bombs and bite bad guys. That's what I used to do. Yeah,
Brian the humanitarian. As for me, I do not like dogs. I have a story about that. Maybe I'll tell it one day.
We'll talk about it
We'll talk about it one day.
Well, let's talk about somebody I don't like.
Seems like somebody nobody likes.
And that is Patrick Reed, who won the Masters. Apparently nobody, to be honest, I knew who he was. I'd heard about him. I knew he represented the United States in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't think that he was going to win, nor did I know much about his personality. But after it won, it came out that this is literally like one of the worst people in the world. And this is not just for me. He was voted the worst person on the PGA Golf Tour last year. He disowned his family, did not invite them to his own wedding.
Terrible.
Didn't invite them to the Masters. They actually had to throw a party like a few miles down the road to still cheer on their son, like really rooting for him, but they were not allowed to attend.
I would have crashed that wedding if I was his family. If I was the parents, I would have crashed that wedding. And there was nothing anybody could do. Like, I'm the parent. He's here because of me.
Yeah. It's not just the parents. He was kicked off of, I believe it was the University of Georgia golf team. They said they didn't want to have any part with him. And then he went to Augusta State, I believe, to golf there for the NCAA championship.
Yeah.
And when he was in the NCAA championship, his teammates from Augusta State actually were rooting for the opponent. So they were rooting against their own school because they hated this guy, Patrick Reed, so much they wanted him to lose.
You have to be a complete dirtbag for your own teammates to be rooting for the other team.
Yeah.
That's funny. And now he's just going to be more arrogant than ever now from winning the Masters. This is... apparently the Masters, the last day, as we talked about it, the last day was the most entertaining because Jordan Spieth, he had quite the day on Sunday.
Yeah, he played one of the best rounds in Augusta history.
Yeah, and
he was my favorite to win it. He came up, he finished third, but it was a strong start for Spieth.
And he almost was in first, and I think he just messed up somewhere in one of the last holes or something like that.
Golf is a finicky sport.
Yeah, golf ain't friendly, but. Hey, it lived up to its, its hype as it always is. It's the most entertaining thing on Sundays, and I didn't watch it personally. I was, as I usually do, I follow on, so I go on Twitter just to see what's happening, and Jordan Spieth was trending, and anytime someone's trending, it's either good or bad, and he was.
Yeah, right.
He started trending for a good reason, and then he started trending for a bad reason, but.
I just love these golf majors because it signifies summer is coming. The U.S. Open, now that's really when summer starts.
Yeah.
When the U.S. Open.
We talking about the U.S. Open?
Well, it hasn't started yet. I do want to say, because we do have to kind of wrap up this portion and move on to MMA, but I do want to say we were wrong about the Manny Pacquiao-Lucas Matisse fight. We got some bad information from Mukala here. That fight actually did not take place last week.
I never said it was taking place last week.
He did.
No, I didn't. Did I?
I think he announced it. I think that was the announcement.
I said they announced that there was a fight going to happen.
Well, the information that was translated to the audience was that it was happening that week.
My bad.
So, mea culpa on us for that. The fight did not happen. But I still stand by my predictions.
Oh, I thought I said that they signed to fight, and then we just gave a prediction when the fight happened. Oh. We've had long days here.
Yeah, we've had long days, but we did say that the fight was that week.
Oops.
It's okay. You guys can forgive us.
Just blame it on Pedro.
Just blame it on Pedro back there. He feeds us all these notes. We're really just repeating all of Pedro's lines. This whole thing is scripted. We're reading off teleprompters right now. Pedro wrote it all. Okay,
we're going to skip Tiger Woods' part.
We can skip Tiger Woods.
He finished 37th.
Irrelevant.
I mean, he's not back. For all you people that's wishing Tiger Woods to come back to what he was, it's not happening.
Not happening.
He's 41.
Yes.
It's over. Tiger's done. That's it. Move on. All right?
Got it. Thank you.
Now for the crazy Irishman, Conor McGregor.
Do we have this video, please?
I did not put the video up.
Oh.
Because I wasn't sure if I put it, if we would get blocked like, one of our episodes got blocked on YouTube for some odd reasons. I wasn't sure about, but
Right.
Conor McGregor, he ruined everything for everybody last week with his, what do you even call that? His thug
Little
activity.